Hello, everybody. My name is Angie Gorodima, and I work with Central Alberta Refugee Effort, also known as C.A.R.E. And today, as we are approaching National Volunteer Week, we are so excited to bring one of our long-time volunteers to just talk about volunteering and the benefits of volunteering within our community. But before we do that, I would ask my coworker Jen to introduce yourself as well, and we'll take it from there.
So good afternoon. I'm Jan Underwood, and I've worked with Central Alberta Refugee Effort for actually almost 19 years. It will be my birthday, I guess, my celebration day on May the 8th. And I've worked with probably hundreds of volunteers, and some long-time ones like Martha, who has worked with me, along with me, for about 20 years. So it's definitely something to celebrate. And C.A.R.E is a settlement agency. We offer services for people that are permanent residents, and also some services for people that are Canadian citizens too. And a lot of the programs that we offer, a lot of the services that we offer, do rely a lot on volunteers to assist us. And we've got programs that are for women, for men, for youth. We've got programs where some of our workers go into schools. We've got ESL programs, conversation groups, an employment service. We've got a volunteer manager, so they're managing anywhere between 200 and 400 volunteers who can be anyone in the community, can assist us as a volunteer. So we do rely on them quite a bit. And C.A.R.E just had their 41st anniversary this year. So we've been offering those services for a long, long time. So thank you. That's me and a little bit about C.A.R.E too. Over to Angie.
Thank you, Jen. And I should also add that my program and Jen's program, we're with the public awareness program. So a lot of our work depends on volunteers. For our work to be effective, we invite volunteers from all over the world to share their culture, to share their experience with us within our program. And I feel like I've learned a lot about other cultures just from leading this program. As we go to schools, we talk about different countries, we talk about different cultures, and the experience that the volunteers will bring to the classroom is outstanding and really amazing, because without that knowledge from the specific cultures, we wouldn't be able to deliver the services we deliver to different schools and different engagements that we do in the community as well. And another aspect of the job that I really love is working with volunteers when it comes to community programs like events we do. We use volunteers' experience, expertise in delivering those events. And so we just appreciate all the work that our volunteers do, because it's key to our program's success. So without delaying too much, we want to ask Martha if you want to introduce yourself so we know a little bit about who you are, when you started volunteering for our program, just a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Angie and Jan and Daniela. My name is Martha Cortés, and I am originally from Colombia. I came on 2000, but incredibly, instead of 20 winters, it's 21 winters, which is very nice. I enjoy Canada a lot. I feel very proud of Canada, a country which accepted us as we were, without asking questions, they say, yes, you can come. No, were questions, but what I mean was kind of nice to come over here. Um, when I came to Canada, I did not speak any English. I had to learn the language as an adult person, and I learned at C.A.R.E. I learned my English at C.A.R.E. I have a big mountain of nice incidents and others not very nice, but the mountain is about the happy ones, the mistakes that I made with when I was speaking in English. You cannot believe it. It was very enjoyable. And my family is here now, and we are so proud. I came with minister's permit, which is the highest level of refuge. And after I was able to get my permanent resident status, and in 2005, I became a Canadian citizen. And I can tell you that I am not part of Canada. Canada is my property. I own Canada. And I am super happy and proud. I am like a big peacock to be here in Canada. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Martha. That was a good way to start our questioning period because we got lots of questions for you. And we just love the fact that you're so proud of Canada and you've made it your home. That's really awesome. So right on, we're gonna start with Jen's question for you, and then we can have a little discussion around whatever responses you provide, and then we can move on to the next question. So Jen.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Martha, for all those years that you've been a volunteer with C.A.R.E. We certainly appreciate it. And it's been in different aspects, right? So sometimes it's been going into schools or into workplaces with myself. It's also been with events like Angie mentioned. But you've also worked at C.A.R.E. as well, a little bit like in reception. You do translations and interpretations. There have been lots of different variety of positions that you've done, and I would think that you've learned along the way, especially at the beginning, lots of different skills and talents, and what it's like to be in a Canadian workplace, right? Through that volunteer experience. So I think it's been valuable, extremely valuable on both sides. You know, for us, we've learned from you, you've learned from the experiences. I think it's been good for you in building relationships and friendships. And some of them are still, you know, you still got those friendships today. And I know that one of the things that you've spoken about with Angie and myself is how much you like to help other people. So a lot of it has been what you've given back as well, you know, for getting those services, but also helping other newcomers. So the second question is related to that, I guess. Um, so do you have any advice that you would offer to people who are thinking about volunteering? Especially for a non-profit organization such as C.A.R.E. So do you have any advice that you would give people? Do you have any experiences that you can share? You know, was there something wonderful that happened at one particular volunteer event or whatever? So just a little bit more information and thinking about people who might be interested, right, and not sure. So over to you, Martha.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you. Yes, effectively, I enjoy volunteer a lot, a lot. I still here a little bit over 20 years volunteering. And one of the things that I really love is the public speaking. I learn new skills by sharing my story or talking about my country or about the difference between Colombia and Canada or any topic that we are going to touch on any presentation. Then the new skills that you um, learn through it is you get a good developed on that area, learning new thing, because if you made a mistake in the prior presentation, you corrected in the newer one, and it is very good. Also, a big opportunities for a variety of volunteer experiences. Um, I have the opportunity to do almost everything, like going with a family to the store to guide them about that food is spicy or this is not what you are looking for, or on this way you can get more advantage of the food, or this. That's very simple, nice and enjoyable, because you know that you are helping that family on a very basic important thing, that which is food. Also, another area is going to the schools or universities or colleges to share my experience, why I came to Canada, how was the process to come here. And I do that as a volunteer, and people are asking you a lot of questions, and it brings me back, sorry, to the new skills, learning new skills as a public speaking, or going to the court to translate a trial or to help a client to pay a fine. Simple as that. And connecting with the community, that is very important thing. You make different connections in different organizations or in different companies. You make a good relationship by connecting with different people. Another thing is teaching or guiding, encouraging people to do it. If you want to be a volunteer, come on over. I am going to teach you. I can guide you, as I learned that through Jan or through Angie. They said, uh, can you do this and this and that? And I said, yes, they are my teachers, and I am the teachers of the new volunteers. Encouraging them to do it, supporting them to do it. You are not alone. I am here with you. No worries about the English mistakes. You made it, but you are going to make it, but everybody is trying to help you to move forward, not to stay on the same spot. And one of the most important thing is non-judgmental, not prejudice. Treat everyone as they are, how they are, why they dress like that, how they smell, how they look. It's very important to accept everybody as they are. Do not ask inappropriate questions. Be nice with everybody. If you want to give a hug to a person who is a volunteer and is another one besides it, hug that person too. Don't make any difference, not judgmental. Sorry, that word is difficult for me. That's part of my the advices, let me say, that I will share with people who wants to become a volunteer.
Thank you, Martha. And I think it's really important what you were just talking about, the last part of it, especially. Um, and One of the aspects in the public awareness program for Angie and I is that we're trying to encourage people to be welcoming and inclusive. We're also trying to um, get rid of, I guess, things like assumptions that people make about people or stereotypes.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly. And Jan, sorry,
yeah. Sorry, go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt you.
Hmm.
I experienced a very nice thing. I remember when I went with you to the college in Lacombe to make a big presentation in the auditorium. Was full of people, full. And I shared my story, why I came to Canada. After the presentation was over, I noticed a line of people who approached to congratulate me for how I, I continue smiling from coming from a dramatic situation. And I remember one of the ladies who approached to me and hugged me and said, "You are encouraging me to work with immigrants, to help people like me," because she was an immigrant too. And incredibly, you cannot believe how nice was to find that person a few years later working at C.A.R.E, leading the group of seniors at C.A.R.E and a group of ladies sewing. Her variety of job duties were big, and she was, I, when I saw her there, we were on tears, and we hugged each other without words. She made what she was thinking, what she thought, she made it. It was a very nice experience.
Hmm. And I remember that happening actually. It
Yes.
was very valuable. Um, and I think also, you also said it in your own words too, is sometimes volunteers think, especially if they're doing presentations or public speaking, like you said, that they have to be an expert. And if you're talking about your country or your culture, then to us, you are an expert, right? And I think that's a way that you can share that knowledge and share that experience with other people. And the other thing that I think is really valuable, and it kind of goes with the welcoming and inclusive community too, is that quite often we take volunteers, a group of volunteers. So a group might go into a school with Angie, a group might go into a workplace, or there'll be a bigger group working on an event, and everybody becomes friends, right? And we support each other, and they're all from different places, and also people that have been born in Canada too. So not to, give the idea that the only volunteers that care are people from other cultures, because we've got lots of Canadian-born people that volunteer as well. And they're learning about the other cultures, but also the people from other cultures are learning from them, right? It's a two-way learning, which I think is really valuable. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, Martha, about some of the experiences, maybe?
Experiences, I have a lot, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of experiences volunteering. Like now, judgmental, that word is not easy for me. And it's one very small experience, but I, I will work on making that word working on my mouth. Uh, what I want to add is encouraging anyone who wants to become a volunteer, please do it. It's the most rewarding thing that you can do. Like you cannot imagine how many good things you receive in your heart and your soul from being a volunteer. You become by yourself, in yourself, very important because you feel nice, you feel valuable, you feel appreciated. And please do it. Become a volunteer. It's very nice.
Thank you, Martha. And when you were talking, you talked about going to schools, and I'm just curious. So, are the school systems the same, like here in Canada and that from your country of origin? Or
No,
were there any surprises?
no, it's totally opposite. For example, in Colombia, almost all the schools are wearing uniforms. The students are wearing uniforms. For what reason? Is a very important reason. It made everybody equal. It makes everybody equal. Like, doesn't make any differences. Like, I am wearing a Tommy Hilfiger shoes and you are wearing a Walmart shoes. No. With uniform, you are the same, exactly the same. And you must to be very respectful with the teachers. I am not saying that here they are not respectful, no, but in Colombia it's more strict. It's more, you need to sit down in a proper position, pay attention. You cannot be relaxed. You need to be in a correct attitude to absorb knowledge. It's very different. Like over there, the bell sounds and you must to be on time. People who come late to the school are not allowed to get in. You lose the day if you arrive late. And now the things are more flexible in Colombia. What I am telling you is when I was a student, but now things are more flexible, and it's a lot of schools with like here, no uniforms, wear your own clothes, because parents are not able to buy all the uniforms. If you have 5 children, it's too much. It's better to wear your own clothes than to have uniforms, especially because you cannot wear the same shirt every day. You need 2 or 3 shirts for the whole week. And that's a difference. And the teachers are ruling nicely, but what the teacher said is mandatory. Here, the students say, no, I don't like that, I prefer this, and they are being listened, and rules could be modified. The same is happening in Colombia now. Don't take me wrong, but the school system is different, as well as the law system. The law system is amazingly different from Canada to Colombia. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for sharing that. My other question was in regards to you starting the whole journey of volunteering. Did you volunteer in Colombia or you started volunteering in Canada?
No, I volunteer in Colombia too, because my father, he was a very well-known man in our area, and he was related. He was part of different boards, and I was curious, and I went with him, and I started learning, and I started doing this, and I started going there, and I prefer do this. And even when I became an adult, I did my own volunteer choices, and even I create some groups, or let's do this, let's do that, and I put people together, I coordinated. I became volunteer in Colombia too. I was a volunteer there. It is in my heart. I help and share is very basic, important part of my personality.
Thanks for sharing that. And I guess that leads me to my next question. So you've been volunteering for, I think, 20 years here in Canada, Central Alberta for the most part of it. What is it that you get out of all these hours you put in? What is that one thing that makes you feel like I'm fulfilling a purpose here? Like, why so many years? I know people may have volunteered for like a year or for just a single event and then they're done. But what is it that you get that keeps you going back and back?
It's because, as I told you, is part of my personality, and also because Canada captivated my heart, and I want others to get easier time than I had when I arrived here. Mine was not bad, but was a little bit tricky because the the level of refuge that we came. And I started doing this, I started investigating, I started doing that. And by that, I met a lot, a lot of people. I went here, I went there, asking questions, and I started meeting people. By volunteering, you meet different people, simple people, people who are able to help you in the future for any reason is very good. And besides it, you make you build a good relationships with those people. Besides to meet them, the relationships are becoming stronger and stronger, and you can build that friendship, let me call it like that. It's not friendship that like to hang around, no, it's like work volunteer friendship. And also I learned about different Canadian ways to be, to deal, to have, to develop. Is very, very nice. I learned a lot, a lot. I am a big book full of knowledge about how to, for example, how to behave at the court is different than how to behave at the school or in a doctor's office translating for a client, or going to the store. Obviously, court has a very strict way to be. As when you are a volunteer, you cannot go and do whatever you want. No, I am learning about Canadian ways. And also you become, you be a role model. People want to be like you. People want to follow you. You are kind of a leader for others. And they ask you questions, and I share my experience. I share everything. I don't keep anything for myself. No, I share with everybody who wants to listen. I share my experiences, my knowledge, my 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 anything that I know, I share with them. And making a summary is, you meet people, you build a good relationship with them, you learn Canadian ways to be, to behave, and you are a role model, you are a leader. And I am not like the most important people in Canadian and Red Deerian community, no, but people knows that I am a volunteer, and I am not shy. That's another thing that helps me. I am a very open person, outgoing, and it helps me a lot. And I am super proud to be a volunteer, especially for C.A.R.E, which is the organization that keeps me there, because C.A.R.E has many ways, many ways to volunteer. It's not just to be an interpreter, no. It's to do many different ways to volunteer. For that reason is the immigration center.
Thanks, Martha. And I like the fact that you pointed out that you can volunteer in different areas. You don't have to be doing public speaking like Martha likes to talk, but you can be an interpreter one-on-one with a client, or you can go to schools where there's a group setting. So there are different areas where people can actually like choose and say, oh, my personality is like this, so I can volunteer in this area.
Yes,
So for some time,
I remember, Angie, when you invited me to be part of a group who went to the seniors building, and over there, as soon as I arrived there, I saw different faces that I haven't seen before. And I said, excuse me, I don't know who you are. I am Marta Cortés and from Colombia. Who are you? And they said, oh, I am this and this from this country. And I met people there. We presented in front of the seniors and they asked questions. And I learned from them by their questions. I discovered new things. And the seniors are so easy people to deal with, and they are very soft, very delicate. And you invited me there, and I learned from that experience. Meet new volunteers, share experiences, meet the clients who were the seniors, and learn from their experiences too. From their questions, I learned too. It was very nice moment.
Thank you, Martha. And also, I'll point out that we do work with all ages. So if you like to work with little kids, we could be pairing you with a project that's happening in a daycare. If you like to work with school-aged kids, if you like to work with university students, Jen is always at RDC doing her workshops there. If you like to work with women, there are women's programs going on as well.
Yes.
Seniors as well. So we cater for all age groups, and volunteers are also able to choose which program they would like to join. With that, I'm going to ask you, Jen, as someone who has been working with volunteers for 20 years, what do you enjoy most about working for C.A.R.E and with volunteers?
Again, a big question. I think what has kept me at C.A.R.E for all this time are the volunteers, actually, and the relationships that we've built, and especially the ones. Well, there's kind of different things to do with long-term volunteers because you're building such a relationship, you know, with people like Martha. They're part of my life. You know, they're not just somebody that I see in a workspace. We're friends outside of work too. So I would say the building the relationships, the learning from each other. I think there's a lot of learning that happens. There's a lot of bonding, you know, bonding between volunteers that I mentioned before. And I just think it's so valuable to be able to learn things from a person, you know, not to be trying to learn about different cultures from books or from movies or, heaven forbid, social media, you know, but actually learning from people themselves. So that to me is one of the most important parts of our program, and I've stayed with the same program for 19 years as well. Another part of it is Angie and I organize events. We do at least 6 a year, right? And so I was just kind of listening to the types of volunteering that we were mentioning. And if people are quite shy as well, but still want to volunteer, they could be working kind of behind the scenes a little bit, or maybe they've got a talent that is to do with presenting something, but not necessarily performing or public speaking. It could be helping in the background, right? And so I think we've, through the years, you know, we've built relationships with those people as well. And the events are usually a lot of people, you know, it was pre-COVID, and we could get hundreds of people at an event. And learning so many things in that kind of an environment too. So you might be learning about a celebration. You might be learning about projects that you can be involved in, initiatives that we're leading maybe. And it brings so many people in the community together. Like, it's definitely, we're working in the community, we're developing that welcoming and inclusive aspect of community living. get to know your neighbors, get to know people. And I think all of that has encouraged me to stay. So it's not the kind of job where, we're just sitting in one spot and maybe working on the computer or making phone calls or whatever. We're actually getting to know people quite deeply. And we're out and about in the community, So I think when people I'm a people person. I like to be with people. So the COVID situation has been very difficult for me. But I should add that we're still doing workshops. We're doing them, by whatever platform we can. So we're still doing the workshops. We're still using volunteers. We're just learning new skills, right? So we've had to learn new skills for doing that, and our volunteers are also learning new skills to adapt to this new situation. So I think some of the learning experiences are very valuable as well for us and for the volunteers, right?
Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Taking Jan's point, you said learning new skills. I must tell you that my first volunteer moment here in Canada, I was invited to Saint Teresa of Avila School for the whole primary school, the whole school, to talk about my country. But I was here just for 2 months, and I didn't have any English. And I learned the skill to volunteer by almost being mute. I was like this. Me, baby, Colombia, me, happy, you. It was my way to talk. And the students, the children were like this. They were so attentive to what I say. I felt embarrassed, very ashamed, but they made me feel, no. We are learning from you, learning new skills, Jan. We are learning from you. It's okay. And we ended on dancing cumbia. Cumbia is a rhythm, a Latin rhythm. And it was very nice. Sorry for the interruption. I just want to bring that point here.
And I also remember going to a library, and I think it was a small place that we went to, because quite often we bring people to rural areas to basically bring some different cultures there that they may not see on an everyday basis. And I remember you leading a whole group of seniors in a library doing the Zumba or the cumbia. Yeah, the cumbia. And it was one of the most interesting and entertaining moments in my career, I think, was seeing you do that. And all these, these seniors, like you say, they were receptive and they were having a good time and they were meeting you, so that was great. And that was years ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for sharing all of that. I would also add, before I even started working with C.A.R.E, I saw an ad that was advertising skating lessons for people who've never skated. And I think it's one program that many Canadians are proud to be a part of as volunteers, because when we have people coming from other countries like Zimbabwe, I had never seen anybody skating because we don't have snow in Zimbabwe. So it was something new that I always wanted to try, but I was always afraid. But then when you have people like holding your hand and guiding you on the ice, it's actually nice and the fear goes away and then you want to try it. So that's how I actually learned about C.A.R.E through that experience when I had gone to learn to skate. And then after that, that's when I started exploring more about C.A.R.E, and then I saw an ad for a job. And I was like, oh, maybe I can apply for this job because it's something that I also like to do. So I would also want to encourage many people who are able to bring their skating skills to the rink and help others, like newcomers, to learn to skate with our immigrant youth program too. So with that, Jen, did you have anything to add, or Martha, do you have anything to add before we close our session or end our session?
I
Just
just
like to
want to
say,
repeat.
sorry, go
I just
ahead.
want to repeat that I am so proud to be a volunteer, to be part of C.A.R.E, but especially becoming a volunteer gave me a lot of satisfaction, a lot of personal uh, present to me. Every volunteer time is a present to me. And I encourage everyone who wants to do it. Approach to C.A.R.E if you want. Any of the ladies who did presentations or any volunteer activity, they are teaching you how to do it. You don't have to be the wisdom person, no, they are teaching you, and you are not alone. Do it, please do it.
And I just wanted to say thank you because it's National Appreciation Volunteer Week coming up in April. I wanted to say thank you to all of our volunteers. I'm hoping that they'll get to watch this and realize, you know, what value they are to the whole agency. And we'd like to thank personally the ones that have helped us in public awareness. So thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I also want to say thank you to all of our volunteers, and thank you to all volunteers that volunteer for any other organization and for our community, because our community gets better when we have people giving their time and volunteering in different capacities. And for those who have never volunteered, I want to encourage you to step out and explore different organizations within the community and find an organization that you can volunteer for or a group that you can be a part of. But thank you also to Daniela and Dave for having us today.